everyone, and welcome back to the Oxventure. I'm Andy, and I play Corazon de Baena, the human pirate rogue.
I'm Mike. I play Egbert, who's a dragonborn paladin.
I'm Jane. I am Prudence, who plays... who is a tiefling warlock. She and... Never you mind.
What she's been acting this whole time.
Oh dear.
She's secretly a cleric.
I knew it.
I'm Luke.
No, she's
and I
definitely
play
a warlock. Sorry, go on, Luke.
It's all right. I'm Luke, and I play a half-orc bard called Dobb.
I am Ellen, and I play Merilwen, who is a wood elf druid.
And I am Johnny. I'm literally everyone else in the world.
Hooray!
And actually, part of this video is going to be us having a little chat about that world that I am everyone elsing, because change is a-coming. And I mean, it's a coincidence that I'm rubbing my hands together, but be ye afraid. But before we get onto that, it's time for you all to level up. Now, I know it's been ages since you've all leveled up, but for those of you watching at home, we kind of had a chat about this off camera.
We must be going up 6 or 7 levels, Johnny.
That's
At
correct.
least.
You are going up 1 level.
One!
One, yeah, I know.
You stingy miser.
One little teeny measly level. But
Look,
there
if
is
you
a
were
good...
Johnny and you had to deal with as many messages this week as he has from all of us being like, what? One
How do
more
I level
hit
up?
die?
Yeah.
What is a spell?
How am
Imagine that
level?
double.
You would also level us only once.
I'm never going to learn the spell Dissolve Bones. At this rate.
the reason for this 1 level up is that, it ties into the conversation I want to have about the world. There is going to be plenty for you to keep track of without us complicating it by punting you up to level 10 or 11 and so on and so forth.
So sure, because I feel like I'd really enjoy that.
Being punted up.
Think of how many of Merilwen's spells I could use.
Yeah, this is
Both
true.
level 10.
And we're all, don't get me wrong, we're all tempted to complete the Druid spellbook. But,
Yeah, it's true.
For now, we shall behave. Obviously, it's not going to be that long again until you level up again. So if anyone at home is watching and is disappointed, don't be. They'll get there. They'll get to the fireworks factory soon.
We're slow learners. Egbert's definitely a slow learner.
So
All right, okay. New deal. We go up 1 level, but I get a cape. Those are my terms.
Sure. I mean, I
Take
kind
it
of
or leave it.
I kind of assumed Corazon had at least 1 cape anyway. So this is an easy bargain for me.
All right,
Smash
deal.
into the cape is caught in the wheel of the joyful damnation.
Save me!
And by wheel, we of course mean the new paddle steamer that's been attached to the side. So he's just
of
getting
course.
dumped.
Oh no, cut cape is a level 9 spell.
Right, well, shall we start
Only I
with
could dissolve my bones to get out.
Shall we start with Corazon, since we're already talking about the spells that he might conceivably take in the
Yeah.
future?
Yeah, this won't take long, I don't think, because not much happens when you become an 8th level rogue. I get an ability score increase,
Excellent.
so I'm going to put that into Constitution, both points into Constitution, because that'll allow me to add another point to my Constitution modifier, and I feel like I've been testing my Constitution quite a lot recently, and probably a lot more in the future. So I will now have +2 to Constitution rolls.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, certainly over the last year, it feels like there have been several times in which the Oxventurers have just got stuck in behind the bar. Mm-hmm. Like, having to give a piggyback to a drunk and slightly emotional Prudence.
Yeah.
Who said, you're my friend, I'll kill you last, and so on and so forth. You've been
testing the old Constitution.
testing your own metal.
So
well,
yeah.
That was brief. But yeah.
Well, also, we should probably talk about how my multi-classing is working currently.
Yes. Because,
Too well, I would say.
as I think a lot of people might. Yeah, so the way your multiclassing is currently working is it's not fundamentally broken, but it is unorthodox, which I personally am fine with. So we're going to carry on with that.
New tagline.
Well, I don't want any more spells. Like, if I were continuing down the Arcane Trickster class route at 8th level rogue, I would have 3 cantrips and 6 spells.
Yes.
But I don't have that many because I've got all the useful ones. I've got all the good ones. I've got Grease. I mean...
Yeah. What
else do you need?
could you want?
What more do you need? I don't really use my spells in combat anyway. They're all just utility spells that I use for adventuring. So Yeah, I'm just going to be leveling up in the swashbuckler track from now on. So what level swashbuckler have we decided that I am at this point?
So here is the thing. If you were, basically, if you wanted to multi-class into swashbuckler, if I'm remembering this correctly, you would become a level 1 in swashbuckler. And I think it means that you can't use as many of your arcane trickster powers until you level up swashbuckler to an equivalent level.
Right.
It's like you're resetting, but as you go, you unlock both trees as you return to your former level.
Interesting.
But what is Corazon the Baena without Greece? So I'm perfectly happy, basically, for you to retain all of your spells and just keep leveling up the swashbuckling stuff.
Okay. Well, you don't get anything new at level 8. I unlocked Panache at level 9, Panache is extremely cool, but I don't get it yet. So.
What is it?
What is Panache?
At 9th level, your charm becomes extraordinarily beguiling.
Oh, Lord.
It's going to be unbearable. Isn't it? It's going to be absolutely unbearable.
All right, Johnny. Well, now you have a deadline to kill Corazon.
I haven't even described what happens yet. As an action, you can make a charisma persuasion check contested by a creature's wisdom insight check. The creature must be able to hear you, and the two of you must share a language. If you succeed on the check and the creature is hostile to you, it has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets other than you, and can't make opportunity attacks against targets other than you. This effect lasts for 1 minute until one of your... So basically, this is all bent to the benefit of you guys.
The fun thing about
Fine, I
that
like
description is that because there's a wisdom check that the opponent has to pass, it suggests that if you were truly wise, you would not be beguiled.
You wouldn't fall for this nonsense.
But yeah, if the creature isn't hostile to me, it becomes charmed by me for a minute as well.
Okay. That's going to be excruciating. That's the bit I'm worried about. But I kind of like the combat application of the other one, because it's like all of these folks, they're palling around with this guy? Oh, they must be okay.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like
This great dude. He's so
friendly by
beguiling.
reputation, by association.
I'm
Yeah,
welcome
fair
wherever
enough.
I go. So yeah, that's what I'm working towards, but I don't get that yet. So that's a little preview. But yeah, I'm just increasing the constitution, and that's it, I think, apart from
Do we
hit
add
points.
hit points?
Yeah, I was going to say you should. The time to do an exciting hit die roll has come to see how many hit points you gain.
Okay, so I'm going to be rolling 1d8 plus my constitution modifier, which is good because I just leveled that up. So I'll be rolling 1d8 and then adding 2 to the results. So I'm just going to ask Google to roll a d8 for me. Hey, a 7. Nice. Plus 2.
All right.
9.
Excellent.
So
Not a bad
9
result at all.
additional hit points, which will bring me up to 62.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Interesting. Who's next in to join me in the dungeon of giving information over and discussing it in a friendly, non-judgmental
Sounds like a horrible
atmosphere?
euphemism for interrogation.
Oh yeah.
I can go?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Johnny, the first thing I have to tell you about Dobb's character sheet, it was a real mess. So I decided that I would basically run it through the D&D Beyond digital character sheet thing for a couple of reasons. One, because going forward, that's going to make it easier to keep track of spell slots, which I know is something that you wish to discuss. And also because like some of Dobb's spells require a lot of dice to be rolled. Cure Wounds, Heat Metal, Thunder Wave are all like 4 or 5 d8s. Yeah. Oh, so, yeah.
And Luke
sweet.
just
So,
doesn't have that many d8s.
I just don't have that many d8s,
Who
and
does?
I suck so bad at maths that I really the kind of pretend virtual on-screen dice just for that is super useful. But in the process of doing this, some of Dobb's modifiers have come out slightly different. They've on average, like across the board, come out like slightly worse. So I'm just going to go with it because I think it's probably more likely that my paper character sheet just contains like legacy
Massive errors.
Horrible
mistakes.
fallacies. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
But it's nothing too severe. But like
Horrible fallacies.
Andy, we were all thinking it, but
Andy.
only you would say it.
Is that in the monster manuel?
Is that what happens when Dobb levels up?
What do you think
More
all
of
those
them.
bits are on a beholder?
Oh no!
I had wondered.
leveling up is a very special occasion.
It's a very special time in a young orc's life.
It's a moment that's been described as almost spiritual. You look forward to it for so long, and then something like this happens. Okay, so like dexterity has gone down by 1 just in the modifier, and but intelligence has gone up a bit.
But D&D Beyond has given Dobb a nerf.
Yeah.
Yes, basically,
He's OP.
a very, very small nerf, which I'm just rolling with.
Because you hate maths that much. You hate maths more than you love being good.
I hate maths more than I love being strong, but I'm putting my 2 points into wisdom. So I now have a wisdom modifier of +3.
Nice.
And I did that because Dobb is very, very good already on dexterity and constitution, but I feel like if Dobb was doing some introspecting and trying to self-improve, he would be thinking about wisdom kinds of things. The things like perception, medicine as well. These kind of checks, I think he just wants to become a little bit more well-rounded than someone who's just so good at acrobatics.
Yeah, and insight as well. I mean, Dobb doesn't seem... Well, he's quite credulous, but he's not the person you can sort of blanket lie to. He's good at spotting when people are trying to, sort of sell a fib to a whole bunch of people.
That kind of, emotional intuition and intelligence, I guess. So, anyway, I get 1 new spell. And the new spell that I have chosen is Shatter. A sudden loud ringing noise, painfully intense, erupts from a point of your choice within range, that range being 60 feet. Each creature in a 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a Constitution saving throw, 3d8 thunder damage on a failed save, half as much damage on a successful one. So it's basically Thunderwave, but it doesn't come out of Dobb, it comes out of a point that Dobb points to.
That's pretty excellent.
It's super effective against creatures made of stone, crystal, or metal. They have disadvantage on the saving thing, which sounds super cool. But generally, honestly, the thing that just sold it for me is that the sudden loud ringing noise. When I read that, I just thought of it as microphone feedback, kind of like rock concert guitar, like Dobb's kind of holding the lute up to the amp, to sort of bust the eardrums of the first few rows.
Question. Could the point be Dobb's crotch?
Yeah,
Nice.
it could. It absolutely could. A 10-foot radius sphere centered on that point must make a Constitution saving throw. It could be anyone's crotch as long as it's within 60 feet.
It's like the pocket nuke version of Thunderwave. So it's a little bit smaller, but for that you can determine where it's going off, and it still does loads of damage. So
there's just so many occasions where I end up wanting to use Thunderwave, and Thunderwave is basically Dobb's only offensive magical damagey spell. There's so many occasions where Thunderwave is not appropriate because it comes out of Dobb.
It's coming out of someone's crotch from across the room. Super.
That doesn't make it more appropriate.
It's a very offensive spell. I think you'll agree.
I'm pretty sure that's it at 8th level, apart from a hit point upgrade, which is a D8, which I will roll now. Okay, here we go. Come on, lucky Dobb. That's a 7.
Oh, nice.
That's a 7 plus Constitution, which is +4. Is this is why I can't rely on the mental maths.
Right.
Is 11, which takes Dobb's total HP up to 63.
Nice.
No, 73.
Wow.
73. It
The
was on
tankiest
62.
bard in all of Geth.
It was 62. Now it's 73. Yeah. Okay.
Yikes! I'm already dreading just the constant calls for this spell to be cast on someone's crotch. But good choice. That's not on you, Luke. And I think we can,
We'll get it out of the way early doors, and the first NPC we meet, Johnny.
Just cast Shatter on his crotch.
Shatter on his crotch.
Excuse me, Johnny, if I could step in, Dobb cast Shatter on everyone.
Apples for sale! Fresh, lovely. Ow, my crotch! It's shattered, it is!
Chauncey's never the same again.
Oh, my crotch, sir, it's gone all shattered, it has.
At least we know where the next NPC horrible encounter is coming from, and indeed where it's going. Who's next?
My mum warned me this would happen.
I'll go. You can get Egbert out of the way. There's
Two
not much,
levels, yes.
not much to report with Egbert, to be honest. I don't get any new spells.
Right.
I just get an ability score improvement.
Okay.
and yeah, nothing else really changes.
Where's that going to go?
Is that it?
In terms of my modifiers, how do I know which one might actually make a meaningful difference?
If you pick just one, then
Yes.
adding 2 will automatically increase the number. But if I remember this correctly, if it's an odd number, then adding 1 will take you over the threshold.
Right.
So if you've got 2 ability score,
I think
numbers that
mine
are
are all
odd.
even numbers because I think I deployed my ability scores extremely tactically last
What
time.
would you like to improve, and what's your ability score in it currently?
You know what? I feel like charisma is the most useful for me because that's what a lot of my spells are based on. So
Okay,
maybe
and your current charisma ability score is
16. So
16.
if I put it up to 18, I would get
Yeah.
a plus
You'll
4
be
modifier.
plus 4.
I knew I could rely on you not to fix wisdom.
I'm never going to fix wisdom, Johnny.
Yeah.
If I could take points out of wisdom to make myself stupider, I would genuinely do it. Intelligence is 0 modifier as well. So Egbert's a big dummy. He's a massive dummy.
He's earnest.
Yeah, he tries, but he's
Yeah.
a bit dim. So yeah, I think probably charisma just for, spell purposes. Not that Egbert ever uses spells really, other than as a joke. But yeah, I'm going to go for charisma. I'd like to take my charisma up to 18, and hopefully that would be plus 4 for my modifier.
Excellent. Yeah.
Please.
So modest improvement, but still nothing to sniff at.
And then for
pleasant.
my hit points,
Yes.
it's a 1d10 plus my constitution modifier. So that's pretty good, right?
Depends on the roll, I guess.
Does depend on the roll. All right, here we go. That is a 5 plus my constitution modifier, which is 2, so 7. And that is added to my current total of 56, which brings us up to 63.
The bard is so much tankier than the paladin. It's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
know. He's not even wearing armor. It's ridiculous. Anyway, there we go.
Leather armor is still armor. Thank you. On behalf
It's like he
of
doesn't
all.
have book smarts or street smarts, and he's not that tough, but he's got it where it counts, which we don't know where that is.
Yeah, we'll
He can
find out.
teleport.
He can
But
teleport.
he can teleport.
But he
But he
refuses
can
to.
teleport.
Yeah.
But he won't teleport.
It's hidden qualities. Hidden.
Moral
Brave.
support. Moral
He had a
He's
bravery
deeply
modifier.
hidden.
He
Yeah.
may not have the smarts, and he may not have the muscle. Sorry, my intonation.
Yeah, that's it. Were you expecting me to jump in?
I'm ready, or do you want to go?
Go for it. You got your hand up. Go for it.
I was pointing at you where I can see you on my scroll. that won't be any use to anyone watching at home. So I will go. So Prudence, like everyone, is going from level 7 to level 8, of course. And at level 8, I get an ability score improvement and 1 new spell. But also, warlocks at a new level, warlocks can swap out one of their invocations and swap in a new invocation. Bring another one into rotation. So I'm going to get rid of the invocation. Let's start with the invocation housekeeping, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get rid of the invocation called Sign of Ill Omen because it's a bad curse and I never use it. And so I'm going to get rid of it and replace it with Eldritch Spear, which turns Eldritch Blast into a kind of sniping magic spell with a 300-foot range.
300 feet!
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Come on.
Wait, so
Yeah,
Prudence,
come
are you saying you could target specific body parts?
I could target 2 specific body parts because Agonizing Blast still applies.
I can think of just the 2.
So you're saying Prudence could double Eldritch Spear a crotch from 300 feet,
away.
like from
That's
atop a mountain down
Sure.
in the valley.
Correct.
Valley apples for sale, my fresh valley. Oh no!
Wait, hang on.
Just
You could
recovered
Eldritch
from the
Blast-
shattered crotch.
You could Eldritch Blast people and they would have no way of knowing where it came from.
Yeah. 300 foot is such a long
They would
range.
Yeah.
They would assume it was a curse from the gods.
There are bandits coming from very, very far away. I spear them in the crotch.
Yeah.
Yes, Jane, I'm going to say that's an excellent choice.
I can't believe I didn't take it before, to be honest. I just thought I was trying to be clever and creative, but what I really want is a powered up Eldritch Blast. So
Yes, yeah.
which by the way has like a base range of 120 feet. So
You've over doubled it, basically.
yeah,
You have to adjust for the
exactly.
Coriolis effect.
Does Geth have a Coriolis effect? I don't know.
Good
Well,
question.
I mean,
Not
it
if it's
depends who
flat.
you ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like all those round gethers, they'd go wild if they heard you talking like that.
There's just
So
a
I've
wizard
got-
called Coriolis Effect. You have to ask him first, and he's like, "It's all right."
His
it's fine.
effect, yes.
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so invocations, no change in the number. Still 4 invocations, but I'm swapping out Sign of Ill Omen for Eldritch Spear. No change in spell slots, which is still 2. And no change in slot level, obviously. I get an ability score improvement, which we'll come around to. And I get 1 new spell, and I was torn between a spell called Banish and a spell called Dimension Door. Dimension Door turns out not to be a literal door to another dimension, so I'm gonna go with Banish because it is hilarious.
Okay, good
So-
start.
The spell component, like the spell component, is an item distasteful to the target, so that's fun. You attempt to send 1 creature that you can see within range to another plane of existence. The target must succeed on a charisma saving throw or be banished. So yeah, I get to send people, things, enemies to another plane of existence, which sounds fun. If they originate in our plane of existence, then they only get sent there for a minute, which doesn't seem like a lot, but then given how fast combat is usually over for us, it might be enough to turn the tide.
Yeah.
And if they do
Yeah.
originate in a different plane of existence, then they just get banished back there. So, you know, if we were to deal with anything from
nice.
alternative planes of existence. And
Or
also,
like
it
inside
does
a
mean I can
cursed
put,
orb.
like, it does mean I can put anyone, like Corazon, for instance, in like a 1 minute timeout on a demi-plane somewhere else.
Sorry, a charisma saving throw, you said?
Oh no!
I'm
We're
sending you to
optimising against
this
each other
dimension.
now.
Don't
Yeah.
think I'm gonna go.
Go to your dimension and don't come out
Think
until
about
1
what
minute
you've
is
done.
over.
Corazon
Yeah.
takes a swig of his martini. No, I don't
I
think I'll
don't
be
think
doing
I
that.
will.
No.
But also that, the spell component is an item distasteful to the target, so something that Corazon really loathes, and then I
Love
just
this.
Bit of Egbert.
so but just take Egbert and be like, you're banished.
Yeah.
So I feel like that might be useful in combat.
Oh, it will. I cannot wait until I forget about this, and then it gets sprung on me, and I feel a bit sick.
Yeah.
This is gonna happen.
Yeah. All right, cool. And so I'm going to put 2 points into wisdom because I feel like Prudence has grown older and wiser, but not nicer. So, so there we go. 2 more points into wisdom, which brings her up to 14 wisdom, which is pretty okay. And I'm going to take my health points, my hit points, raise now, and I'm going to take the 5 because it's 1d8 or 5, so I'll take the 5 plus my Constitution modifier, which is a 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. Added to 49 is 58. So 58 HP.
Very nice.
we
And
go.
last but by no means least, because actually this is one of the most significant changes we're seeing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Ellen, tell us about Merilwen. What's going on with Merilwen right
Well-
now? How is Merilwen?
Merilwen is fine. Basically, when we set up Oxventure, we thought that we would keep it simple so that I could still use druid spells and various druid abilities, but not like have a huge number of spells to have to learn and things like that. So I've been working up to level 7. I've been working with this number of spells. So these are all my little spell cards that I've got to keep an eye on it. And that's how many that I've been working from. But now we're like properly getting into spell slots and everything. Instead, at the beginning of every single game that we play, I will in advance select a number of spells. And because of the way that I'm leveling up, I can select 12 spells to prepare ahead of the game from not just this, but also from these.
Whoa.
So...
Oh,
Fat deck of cards right there.
Yeah,
Fat
so
sacks.
basically I'll select a number of spells. So it going up to level 8.
That's a lot of magicked groins.
Yeah. I'm leveling up. I'm
Keep
gaining.
off the groins.
So I divided them into groin-based magic and non-groin-based.
And a much smaller pile, non-groin.
This is the non-groin. This is the groin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've gained a spell slot in level 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I've now got 2 spell slots in level 4. So I've got some fun things I can do there. And also, technically, Merilwen can actually, well, you know, Merilwen has her favourites of being a little Scottish wildcat, or a brown bear, or a giant octopus. Merilwen can actually turn into any beast that she has seen at least once. As long as it's because she's Circle of the Moon, she can go up to like combat level 2, I believe it is. I'll double check that. But yeah, like as long as I've seen it, I'll be able to have Merilwen turn into it.
It's like a big weird seahorse.
Yeah, yeah, because I have
looks a
seen
bit like a dragonborn.
that looks a bit like a dragonborn. Yeah, there will be some different possibilities that Merilwen will be able to do, but obviously she will have her favourites, I think, still, because I can't afford all the props.
Yeah, your cuddly toy budget is going to go
It's a little bit.
through the roof.
I'm going to put, first off, my ability scores. I'm going to put because I'm going to be relying on spells a lot more. I'm going to put one of my modifier points into wisdom to bring it up to a nice around 20. So I have a +5 wisdom modifier. And also, I'm going to put my other point in constitution, which is currently 15, to go up to a 16. So I will have a +3 modifier in constitution. And also, this entire time for the last 3 levels, I've had a spell save DC 1 point lower than it should have been because I forgot to update the fact that my proficiency bonus had gone up by 1, and therefore it affects the spell save DC number as well, because that's how it adds up. So,
Of course.
yes, so I'm now at 16 spell save DC.
Merilwen is so wise and yet still continues to hang out with the rest of the Oxventurers Guild.
Well, I'm really wise, but my intelligence isn't that high, so...
Street smarts. Street
Yes,
smarts.
of course.
Yes. I've got to do my hit points now. So I've got a D8 plus your constitution modifier per druid level after first.
Mhm.
Which is my constitution, which
Just
is now
constitution,
+3.
yeah. Mhm.
So you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to roll. That's a 7. I thought it was a 1. So that is a 7.
The drama.
+3, that's 10. So now I'm on 53. So I'm a bit closer to everyone else.
There we go. The gap is narrowing. Right. Well, that's everyone's sort of leveled up, and I think in many ways, while it feels like a big change for Merilwen, what it really constitutes is just you doing some of the bits of D&D that you should have been doing from the start, which leads nicely into that little chat I wanted to have about the world of Geth
Oh no.
and how it's also going to change, because
It's getting nicer.
well, we've been doing this quite a long time now, so I think it's probably time that the training wheels came off.
Oh no!
Like a
My
children's
training
classroom littered with coats, there are a lot of hooks that you've been let off thus far.
Hey.
But they're going to start coming out. And the first and most important one is spell slots. Because I know you all know intellectually what a spell slot is. But I'm damned if I've ever actually seen anybody tick one off and track how they're being used. So, the way spell slots work in Dungeons and Dragons...
Try and keep it under half an hour.
Yeah, is that basically the number you have is the number of spells you can do of that level before you have a long rest, which is sort of like an 8-hour sleep. So you actually have, it's like in a video game having a mana bar that gets depleted and you need to give it time to recharge.
Right.
So, whereas before you've just all been able to do all of your spells all the time, all day long, now you're going to have to think about when you're doing your spells and when you run out of magic and what you're going to have to do. It is...
This book is wild.
It really is, isn't it? It's one of those things that it will influence your thinking about your character and how they behave somewhat, because, you know, going into a fight completely chock full of magic is very different to going into a fight knowing that you're already pretty, weak and innovators. But what this means is we're going to get some more round the campfire scenes. So in a way, the Oxventure is getting nicer. It's just getting more exacting I'm not necessarily going to say harder, except it is going to get a little harder, I think, because also, like, it's fair to say that through the first 7 levels, you've been steamrolling a lot of encounters. There haven't been that many times, apart from maybe that time when you fought 60 skeletons, and the surprising number of times that Prudence has been neatly disemboweled. No one's been that on the ropes before. This isn't me becoming one of those. I am the DM and I am law, and I'm trying to actively kill you, but I'm gonna start throwing some tougher stuff at you, and hopefully that should make for some more interesting stuff, and some moments where you kind of come up against basically your characters being in a really tight spot and maybe having to think about doing something else, or
Egbert just dies.
Or Egbert, or Egbert just dies.
Smash cut to Egbert. Egbert instantly dying.
The good news about all of this, the good news, apart from the fact that I think this is going to be more narratively interesting, and it should make for,
Yes.
And the funeral will be beautiful.
Good news apart from the fact that Egbert dies.
Everyone's going to speak. It's going to be delightful, but I think that's going to be interesting. But I am not enforcing spell requirements, spell components on you, because I hate them, and if you've got the spell slot for it, I don't need to know if you've got a pinch of nostril hair taken from a walrus or whatever. With the sole exception,
Just assume we do.
Yeah, exactly. The sole exception of Prudence's spell, where she has to produce something that is distasteful to the target.
Yes.
We will always assume that she has it. I just want to know what it is, because I think it's going to be fun.
Great.
And
also really high cost spell components, like the one where I summon a demon but I need like a full person's worth of blood or something.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Which I've not done still. I've still not done that, but
Yeah.
should I ever have to? Yeah.
But again,
One
I
day.
do assume that you're carrying around a full person's worth of blood on you at all times.
It's so heavy.
Like,
Big wine skin
Like a
full of
big, cask on my back.
yeah.
Just in case.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this because trying to figure out spell slots this week in anticipation of this. I'm sure some of you found the same. I've been reading through my spells, and there's a bit at the end that's at higher, if you cast this at a higher level, then you can do this. And I'd never really paid that much mind because we hadn't really been paying attention. But all these spells do cool, rad stuff at higher levels. I'm especially excited about casting sleep at higher levels because
why?
it massively increases the. With sleep, you have to total the hit points of the thing you're trying to send to sleep. You remember that time that I tried to send Corazon to sleep?
Yes.
Because he was threatening to kill an NPC, and I didn't. But had we been using spell slots, I would have used everything at my disposal to send it out of the highest spell slot I had, and my odds would have been much stronger of making that work. So this. I don't think this is going to be restrictive at all. I think it's going to let us do some more rad.
It's definitely
I
not going to
really
be
feel like we're all
restrictive for
honing our abilities to prank each other. Everyone's been maxing for better pranks on each other.
I mean,
I'd like to point out I was threatening a curator that we needed to get something
I cast Shatter on
from.
Corazon's crotch. And what's the damage? I'm rolling it. It is...
Depends what level you're casting it.
I wasn't actually going to kill him. I was a
27.
bluff. I use uncanny dodge. I evade and uncanny dodge it.
Okay.
Can
roll
you
out the
uncanny
way.
dodge it if it's within a 10-foot? Can you
Sphere.
I
how
uncanny
can you
dodge anything, mate.
You're just dodging into the shatter
Into
sphere,
more of the sphere, yeah.
which is the new name for Corazon's crotch.
Dodging out of the way of it.
Welcome to the Shatter Sphere.
Nope.
Wow, that was
evade. Oh, did you say it's an area of effect attack?
Yes.
No, it's a sphere.
It's a.
An area of effect
So-
attack, you say, I use evasion.
That's why it's a sphere.
Can't
All
wait
right,
for
I use my
Corazon to
other
get
4th
panache.
level spell slots to cast Shatter again.
Right.
Now I'm all out of spell slots. Now I need
Alright.
a long rest.
Now that he's
Worth
all
it.
out of spell slots, I use sneak attack and absolutely destroy him.
I'm out of my 4th level ones.
I'm excited for this new adversarial form of
Me
Oxventure.
too. Yeah,
Cast
it's gonna
Shatter
be-
out of a 3rd level spell slot,
Oh no!
and then out of a 2nd level spell slot.
It's going to save me time rolling up NPCs if all you do is brawl
Kill each other.
Fight each other.
for 2 hours every second week. But yeah, that's about the size of it. Hopefully now it all makes sense as to why you've only gone from level 7 to level 8. And it's not going to be long before you level up again. Just, once you've got to grips with spell slots, and we've disemboweled Prudence again. And obviously after
Hey, what?
after Egbert's wake, we'll level up again. But yeah, until then, that's what's up with Geth and you all.
It's going to get tougher.
It's very exciting.
Exciting times.
Who's ready for the Orbpocalypse?
Oh,
Me.
Apocalypse!
I don't know,
Spells!
sounds bad.
Can't wait to go back to not
Wow.
using any spells, and therefore not using any spell slots.
It's not going to change anything for me, I don't think, because I don't use more than 3 spells. I've only got
I'm
3
visualising
spell slots.
Egbert's array of shining, pristine, never before used spell slots.
Yep. Glistening. Yeah.
Mint
Factory-
condition spell slots.
Factory condition.
Yeah. Egbert only really uses spells for a joke.
Cool.
Or to summon a
Cantrips
cute
don't
animal.
use spell slots. Eldritch Blast is a cantrip. So,
Yeah.
sorry, just gotta get
If
that.
I
in there.
use
now you've got
Find
a scope
Steed
for it.
in level 4,
And now I've got a
can
scope for it.
I find a giant dog? Is that how it works? If I do a level 4 Find Steed.
You can find
If
bigger
you-
and bigger dogs.
You find 4 dogs.
Yeah,
Alright.
if you
Lash
want to
them
use up one of your level 4 spell slots on Find Steed, absolutely.
I'm going to find out what it does, whether it does anything.
There's
What does
no
Grease
higher-
do at higher spell slots?
Grease at high levels, I imagine it's just like grease made out of more inviting things. Like
Or
at the
swimming
start it's
pool.
like axle grease, and then it's like vegetable oil,
Bacon
and
grease.
then bacon grease, coconut
Okay.
oil.
Yep,
you know,
yep,
that
yep,
kind of
yep.
thing.
First
Imagine that.
pressing olive oil.
Ooh,
Yeah. God, if I could,
That's
yeah,
fascinating.
if I could produce extra virgin olive oil, that will.
Great.
I'm not eating it.
Corazon's artisanal oil.
If it's come out of Corazon, I'm not eating it.
Yeah.
it's olive oil out of one hand, balsamic vinegar out of the other.
Oh, that would be good, actually, yeah. All
Well,
right,
so
there we go.
see you all again very soon when Oxventure returns with Orbpocalypse now,
Yeah.
or the Orbpocalypse Saga, as it's properly known.
But don't take our word for it. Take the word of this title card that follows what I'm saying with all the details. Please enjoy it.